As if I got a running one. Title of the video suggests I bought a Porsche, and this is a 1986 Porsche 924. It is the 2-litre version, and yes, I said 1986 because it was not an Australian delivered Porsche, it was imported. They stopped making the 924s, well, providing them in Australia in 84 or something like that. So this one was actually imported. So I was sitting there minding my own business, about to put the young fella to bed, and this popped up on Marketplace, and it was by far the cheapest Porsche in Australia, and I just had to have it. So I flicked him my number and ended up giving him a call. We chatted for a bit, but then I found out a little bit more about it, of why it was so cheap. Now on paper, this is a really cool car. It's red, got pop-up lights, 2 doors, sunroof, manual, electric windows, and it's 80s. 80s, I don't know. Stuff on cars from the 80s just has, even though I'm not even from then, but yeah, it's just got a cool vibe about it. So I was like, yep, no worries. So I went down, had a look. It's not mint, but it's fairly complete. If we have a look at the inside here. So you can see dash is cracked. A few odds and ends, but like door trim looks all right. Center console does need a detail. But yeah, everything's pretty well there. That feels quite nice, the shifter. And then I reckon that's an original 52,000 miles as well. So this car was imported to Australia in 2003. So has never had an Australian registration on it. So for at least over 20 years, this thing has not been on the road. May have been driven around or whatever, but so I reckon the 52,000 miles that are on it are genuine, which, yeah, kind of explains why it's in good nick, but it's not in good nick. This was actually destined for a scrapyard at one point, and then it got bought from the scrapyard, and then a couple of people down the track ends up in my hands. So yeah, it did have some broken windows. Windows came with it, which is awesome. But look, the back seat's dusty. It's obviously been out in yards and the sun's gotten at it and whatnot. But yeah, it's not too bad. Right, let's have a look under the bonnet. Got to get my trusty gas strut for this bonnet. Alright, engine bay time. Obviously, struts are gone on the bonnet, but this is the Porsche 2-litre. I don't know if many people know, but this model car was actually designed for Volkswagen. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that tell you the history of this car and the backstory of how it came about. Porsche was a consulting company in its day. It was not primarily an automotive vehicle manufacturer. So anyway, Volkswagen hit up Porsche, said, "Oi, make us a car." There was a fuel scare at the time, or an oil scare, or one, another debacle, pandemic thing to do with automotive. And Volkswagen went, "Nah, we'll play it safe. We'll keep doing the cars that we're already making and are doing well for us." So Porsche had this car that they designed and it had been made. There were some prototypes. Wasn't going to move ahead. So Porsche went, "Stuff it, we'll run it ourselves." And by the sounds of it, this model, the 924s, started in the 70s, and apparently the sales of the 924 helped keep Porsche afloat in that hard time. It's always been known as the poor man's Porsche. For obvious reason, it was an entry-level car, and a lot of people loved it and bought them. So after the 924, we had a 944, and the 944 had more flared guards from factory, and they were pumped out a little bit, and same with the rear quarter guards. Would be nice if these were like that, but that's all right. So this is apparently a Volkswagen engine just with a Porsche badge on it. Now, when I picked it up, I asked old mate, have you had it running or anything like that? He said no. I said, "Have you even tried to turn it over?" He said no. So I put my hands down here and I turned by hand the crank pulley. So it's not seized, which is a really good start. There's oil in it, which is another good start. There's no fuel in the tank, because when I went to the scrap yard, they would have cut the fuel line to empty the fuel out of the fuel tank, and went from there. So I was thinking about running a jerry can up here or something like that, and see if we can get this thing running. That's the main thing. See if we can get it running. Don't know how it's going to go. So I'll drain the oil, set up a fuel system, put some fresh oil in it. I've got some filters, got an oil filter, fuel filter. We'll throw that on, see if it comes to life. So I reckon that was the easy part. I chucked a battery in. I've only got full drive batteries and truck batteries, so it's a bit big, but it's on there. I'm not going to worry about the fuel just yet. I'm just going to make sure it actually turns over. And then, we can rig up a fuel system. So let's give this key a go. Haha, we've got lights. It's good. Neutral. Yep. Let's see what happens. Yes. Beautiful. Right, let's get some fuel set up on this thing. Now, I'm no guru with these Porsches by any means. First Porsche I ever bought, and never had to deal with it all. I've never touched another one, never driven one. So this is my, as they say, poor man's Porsche, entry-level Porsche, and that is why I have it, because I'm poor as well. Now, at the bottom of the tank here, it looks like there might be a pump. I don't know if it is. You can see two wires there. I wouldn't expect it to be a sender, but you can see a return and a supply line there. So what I'm going to do is probably use this little starter pump here that I've got and rig up just a low pressure fuel system, if this works. And that battery could very well be flat. So I'm going to get another battery and rig these fuel lines up and see if that is going to get me the fuel up to the front and make something work. Beautiful. I'm going to abandon at the back here. There's another fuel filter there. So I'm going to abandon that, go straight. check that air filter, just in case. Because you never know if something's living in there. Another clip down there. Alright, we're going to set it like that. It's tucked in there nicely. Let's start getting this fuel system primed up. And we've got no leaks. As if it'd be this easy though. Yeah. Oh. Well, that's a fail so far. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks alright. We probably don't have sparks, probably a dead coil. And with some of that stuff, who knows what's going on. Alright, tried hooking up my inline spark tester, but Porsche, for their ignition leads, don't run the little cap that's on the end of the spark plug. So I grabbed another spark plug and just pulled the little dick off, and we'll chuck him there. Let's see if we get a spark. Yep. So we got spark, that's good. So what I'm going to do is take the intake tube off from that housing and spray a bit of brake clean or something in there so we can get it going with a bit of aero start you bastard, whatever you want to call it. Make it run. Ooh, that's smoking. No, let's see if we do it again. So I'd say, I don't know, probably rings or something to go on. But it runs if you give it another fuel source. So I'm going to say that that fuel pump probably needs a bit of pulling apart. It's probably all varnished up and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, well, it runs anyway. Just got to have a little monkey in the engine bay spraying brake clean all the time. Should be all right. Right, so it's been a couple of days and I'm back having a crack at this Porsche. Did some research on the fuel system and it is, yeah, never heard or seen anything like it before. So let's have a bit of a closer look and I'll explain what the go is. So this here is the fuel distributor, they call it. Fuel comes in and by the sounds of it, correct me if I'm wrong, any of the gurus out there, pretty much it's coming up into a central point, will supply fuel to each of these fuel lines and it comes down to your injectors. It actually is a constant fuel system apparently. So it's continually just adding fuel. It doesn't have a pump as such or anything like that where, you know, come and go. It doesn't have injector solenoids to actuate them. It's just constant fuel. So if you stuff up this fuel distributor, you have the possibility of hydrolocking your engine. So I was running on the Carter pump. Carter pumps are only good for like, what, 4 PSI or something around there. These systems are supposed to be about 87 PSI. So what I've done is I had a spare Bosch 44 pump. I'm going to throw that on there and just see if it does anything. Inside here, let's pull this filter out. This is another thing that let's see if... So I don't know if that's like airflow comes in, pushes that up, which then drops that section down, which is actually the bottom of that. So I don't know if that helps control the amount of fuel. Yeah, you go full throttle, more airflow comes in through that air box, and then that will vary the amount of fuel going through that fuel distributor. That is my guess. Have not researched that. Don't know. Again, anyone corrects me. If they know, I'm going to guess most of my audience doesn't know, but yeah, be surprised. So anyway, I'm going to run that pump and just see what happens and see if it works. Look, more than likely, everything's all gumped up. Like, it's been over 20 years since this thing has possibly been registered. Never been registered here in Australia, as I said, and imported in 2003. We're now 2025, 22 years. So, more than likely, injector's gumped up. This fuel distributor is gumped up. I'm not even going to bother with the line on the tank. Apparently, they're pretty bad for getting rust in the tanks too. So, anyway, this is quickly looking like a very poor, spontaneous decision to buy off marketplace. But I'm balls deep now, so just going to keep going. I can smell the stale fuel. There we go. I don't think there was any fuel getting through. Oh. Ah, man. Let's try again. Oh, that's loading up.
A few moments later.
So it's been a couple of days since I've worked on this thing now, and for good reason, because I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I had a bit of a mishap, as you saw from the photo. It caught fire. Now, I was using the brake clean. There was plenty of brake clean. Pulled in that intake section and I gave it a bit of a rev and it backfired through the intake and massive fireball. Burnt a bit of my beard off, my eyebrows and eyelashes and that. Little bit of burn, but stuff all. By the time I realised what had happened, turned back around, the car was on fire. So I ran over, grabbed my fire extinguisher, put it out. So lesson for everyone, have a fire extinguisher in your shed because, yeah, it could have been a lot worse, that one. So thankful I had one of them. But yeah, I don't know what to do with this thing now. I had the shits on with it, obviously. I didn't know if I wanted to keep it. I was like, stuff it, I'll send it to the scrapyard. I want it gone by the end of the week. Had a wrecker even come and have a look at it, and he offered me some money for it, but I don't know. Another thing that tells me I should get rid of it is not one of my mates have really been supportive of this purchase. Everyone's been like, you're an idiot. Why the hell did you buy it? So that tells me I am the idiot if everyone else says I'm an idiot. Yeah, but you can LS swap these things. So I don't know, is that an idea to do with it? There are kits, so yeah, you can LS swap them. That'd be a lot of fun. And yeah, you can still keep the factory transmission. They got like a torque tube with a transaxle at the back. Yeah, I don't know. What do I do? Do I keep it and tinker with it, or like do I, keep it for the young fella because they're really good for racing cars because of their weight balance and distribution. So they're, I think, 48% at the front, 52% at the rear. So they're really good track cars and a lot of fun. So that's why I'm keen to still get it done. I don't want it to defeat me, but I've got to weigh up time and what I spend on it too. So I don't know what I'll do with it. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. You may or may not see this thing again. We'll see what happens. I'll catch you on the next one.